Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the 4-Digit Mania World Cup 2023. Rolling right along with the second half of this quarterfinals weekend, and oh boy, do we have another very exciting matchup for you guys. In the winner's bracket this time, we've got China taking on Peru. Two very, very good lineups going up against each other for a shot at that winner's semifinals. Be very interesting to see how these teams perform. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Ravel. Rav, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. This is a really interesting match because Peru were able to upset Netherlands last weekend, which was a 10th v7. So this is 10th v2 now against China.
Yeah, for sure. Peru definitely has been on the rise these last couple of 4DMs. Went very deep in 2022 and are looking to repeat that and hopefully capitalize and build upon it this time. But they're going to be facing off against a formidable opponent in China, who are staffed by 3 GB members: Mafufu, Lo Xuan, MMTTYY233, Lovely Hia Hia, Molly, and Zhu. And then Peru, the underdogs in this match, you would imagine: Kamiko, Spectro, Akemi Waton, It's Kui, Samuel G, and Defu. Gonna be, I imagine, a very contentious match, as we have seen so far this weekend across many matches.
I feel like for this match, it's mostly gonna be China trying to attack Peru on L lanes because Peru's L lanes isn't the best, and Peru will definitely be trying to take points off China via Rice.
Yeah, two very opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of overall team comfort, and something I like to say very often, that LN versus Rice dichotomy will start to develop, you would imagine. And some of those points, some of those break points in this match, you would imagine, would start to come in the form of either the hybrids or the 2 SV charts that we have seen. It'll be very interesting to see if either of these rosters decide to leave the SV charts up. If I were in Peru's shoes, I definitely wouldn't want to rifle with China's SV capabilities. So something to watch out for as we wait for this first warm-up to get underway here. Alrighty, so looks like the players are ready. Won't keep you guys waiting any longer. Let's see if this will be a pretty good way to warm up for both teams involved. I think all 12 members are in the lobby at the moment, so hopefully they get their value out of this one. I believe this one is going to be China's warm-up coming through here.
I mean, it is mapped by one of the members of China, so you can assume so. Also, I would like to... Yeah?
I was saying, no, just unsurprisingly, just seeing the SV warm-up from China here, pretty on par with one of their more favorite skill sets here. But you were going to say?
Oh, I just want to say, like, we have we have the highest scoring fantasy league player in this match, which is Kamiko. So definitely one player to look out for, yeah.
Yeah, so very true. One of the hidden mini games for those that are very much interested in fantasy sports, the 4DM Fantasy League. You yourself being the coordinator of that can probably give us some fun little tidbits like that. Kamiko being that aforementioned player.
Yeah, I mean, Kamiko over the last couple of years, if I remember correctly, participating in a couple of 40Ms already, has been a standout player for Peru, and this campaign is going to be no exception. Like, they have been getting MVPs after MVPs for so many of the maps in the round of 32 and round of 16, so you can imagine that Peru are going to need Kamiko a lot for this match.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, Kamiko's going to need their teammates here. Got to be able to lend that supporting combo, that supporting score when trying to take down some of these higher seeded teams. Definitely, maybe not overmatched as some might expect just seeing these two rosters on paper, but definitely might be a bit of an uphill struggle for Peru. Going to be maybe trying to stay within striking distance to capitalize on any potential mistakes. And I think really the pressure is on China to live up to the expectations that they might have set for themselves, definitely what the people watching might have in terms of expectations for them to do in this tournament. So it'll be very interesting to see how that starts to play in the minds of the players as we get into the match proper.
Yeah, when you have Kamiko in Peru, the opposite end, the mirror, would be Mafufu for China, who has been, I think, playing every single map that China has played so far.
Yeah, that's unsurprising. Mafufu taking on that captain role for China, basically organizing this roster to perform at their peak. I think the only player in this lineup that has MWC experience as well. I think they were part of China's MWC roster last year as one of their LNSV specialists, and no slouch on the Rice as well. I think they picked up LN out of necessity and kind of has run with it from there, becoming quite a formidable force on that end of the map pool. So maybe interesting to see how they stack up going up against somebody like Kamiko here. But as this chart comes to an end, it'll be interesting to see what Peru has in store for a warm-up. Should they even have a warm-up? That is also an option for teams to opt into not having to spend the time, the energy before the match starts on a chart that ultimately doesn't matter in the end. And you can tell that there's one player in particular that knew this chart.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, it wasn't the mapper himself.
Yeah, Mafufu is a bit of a different animal when it comes to SV charts. Arguably, from my experience, having played against them before I knew that they were an SV specialist, meticulously studies them. So that'll be something to watch out.
Peru better take notes. Yeah. You know, seems like Peru do have a warm-up.
Yeah, and I think this is basically just their anthem at this point. I think they put this as their warm-up any opportunity that they get. Of course, Peruvian Pride too, as that title translates to.
Yeah. I see the artist name, and I mean, this is as Peru as it gets, I think.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely something.
Fufu questioning in the chat.
Yeah, they're going to get the full Peruvian experience. Would not be surprised if we just saw some folks decide to opt out of playing something like this. Always do like to say that you can't win the warm-up, but you can definitely lose the warm-up.
You can lose the battle, but can you win the war?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a different tournament that I was casting earlier today where they custom made the background, and it was basically saying, "Please let us win, other team."
Oh my god!
And it was the first time I've ever seen, because I've seen hyper physical warm-ups. I've seen stuff that tests your reading ability, that tests your physical ability. But now I'm starting to see charts that test that mental ability. Just the
Oh, man.
psychological warfare being waged between teams and players is a brand new development that I'm not sure where I stand on that.
I feel like that has happened multiple times already, and even in like Mania World Cups, especially I think back in 2018 with Singapore Argentina, the ice cream warm up, which transitions into Galaxy Collapse, and then Argentina were just like, what? They were just stunned.
I mean, it's that surprise factor. You gotta pull a fast one on your opponent before the match even starts. But fortunately, it looks like this one is going to start. Yeah, the MP start command comes out. All 6 players load in.
Oh
so
my god. Yeah, I think Mafufu's questioning is justified on the background.
what? This is art. This is modern art. Computers were made to be able to do stuff like this.
Man, I haven't been in Mania in a while. I totally forgot how Cyber Induction looks like now.
And it has changed. It got ranked recently, I believe.
Oh, that I do know. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cyber Inductance girl looking a little different nowadays. It's never really the same, but it's a story for another time. As we get into Peru's warm up here, a bit more Jack oriented. Always nice to see varying styles, varying takes on what should be a proper warm up, quote unquote proper, of course.
I mean, this is definitely a lot more proper than I thought it would be.
Yeah, for sure. Just a standard 6-star Jack map with some funny breaks in between. And of course the vocals of the song coming through here. Yes.
I mean, Akemi is doing pretty well to hold up. Never mind.
We're getting the curses out. We're getting the curses out of the way early.
We need to get it out of our system first.
Yes. Better to get the misses out. Better get the curses out before the match starts. Before we are held liable for any drops mid-match. At this point, it is their fault if they miss.
We manifest all of the power of cursing over here, and then when the match actually starts, we can finally take a step back and say we're not responsible for anything.
For sure. It's like we got it out of our systems early. So about a quarter of the chart left to go. It will be genuinely interesting to see what the protect and ban strategies for both of these teams are.
I want to see what they want to do with the SVs, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't see a world in which both of them survive. Maybe one, but both of them making it through, I highly doubt it.
I forgot that there's a map called China in this pool.
That's true. Rice 6.
Oh my gosh.
Fun story about that one. Cannot play it in terms of actual music. It is actually DMCA-able, so there is a note about it in the Twitch channel, I believe. There's a command that explains what happened with that one, but we do have a nice alternative.
Understood.
So that will do it for both warm-ups here. The captains will now proceed to roll, and we can get the match proper underway. Ooh, a strong 75. Ooh, it's a 25. Hey, we got a perfect 100. Yeah.
You love to see it.
Love to see it. So China does win the roll. We'll get the first protect and first pick here. Now the question is, do you spend a protect on the SV, or do you kind of just live with the notion that one of them is going to go?
Oh, they are. Concentration.
Okay. So maybe just wanting to guarantee that one makes it through.
Yeah, I
the
believe
banning.
that was what Vietnam did against Philippines. Also protecting an SV.
Yeah, now we see what Peru is going to opt to protect here. It could be something like Rice 5, maybe Rice 4. There's definitely some options here. It's just a matter of what style of chart and then what style inside the skill set you want to leave on the board.
I'm thinking Peru is probably at a skill level where they can just protect something that they are really comfortable on instead of protecting something that China is not good on. So they are going to protect Blockbuster.
Ooh, this one has been a pretty popular ban in the matches I've seen so far. So seeing it protected is gonna lead to some pretty interesting match dynamics, and now Peru gonna be up to ban, and you would imagine SV2 is not long for this world.
Oh.
So New Genesis going to get knocked out here, so I believe that is
LN1, the auto song.
Yeah, we have the non-Romanized titles up on screen, so thankfully pretty distinguishable. So both SVs going to be able to make it, unless China throws a last-minute curveball, but no, it's not going to happen. Rice 4 going to be removed from the pool, so no New Genesis, no Pump It either. So both SV charts making it through.
That is interesting. I'm not sure how China was gonna feel about that Peru didn't go for the SV2 ban.
Maybe a bit of a gambit being laid out here by Peru, kind of daring them to pick into it, but not going to go into it right away. It's going to be Lord equals cross sight. LN2 the pick. So we do get the map loaded up here. Gonna see what the compositions are.
I believe
overall.
Last round China's LN lineup was Mafufu, MMTTYY, and Ziu. But it seems like Worshuan might be in for this one.
Maybe a full GB lineup for the side of China
the full
to
GB
start.
lineup, yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Kemi Watone, Kamiko, and Defu staying in for the moment. Maybe just sorting out some final roster shuffles, and right on cue, Kemi will be departing.
Yeah. Kamiko's a no-brainer for LN maps here. But the other two, we'll see.
Oh, checks back in. Maybe just double checking some settings before getting into the match proper. So for right now, just a couple of last second orders of business to do here from our referee. Ensuring everybody is ready before we get into this first map of this best of 11. Just as a reminder, this is a winner's bracket matchup, so no real consequence for losing this one as opposed to the multitude of losers bracket matches we had to kick off this weekend. Just going to drop down into that lower bracket, and oh boy, it's shaping up to be a bit of a nasty one as we make our way into the semifinals.
I took a peek at the challenge, and some of the matches there, they definitely should be winners bracket matches.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with teams as equally matched as we have seen so far this year, kind of lends itself to that. But MP Star Command comes out. First map officially underway between China and Peru. First team to 6 will be seeing themselves to that winner's semifinals.
Just the one mirror from MMTT.
Yeah, preferring to play this chart on the offhand. Maybe just a little bit easier to read their way through it. That being said, everybody's starting to settle in here. We see Peru take a bit of an advantage in terms of overall accuracy just for the moment, but as everybody starts to really get a bit of a foothold, a bit of a feel for this chart, China starts to wriggle that lead back over, but not without some contest from Peru at the moment. Second quarter of the chart coming up here, and starting to see some battles develop. It's really Luo Xuan and Akemi going at it at the bottom here. Really, every 10th between the two of them, swinging this
Getting
lead back
cancelled
and
out
forth.
though.
Yeah,
Mafufu
it is.
is beating out Kamiko.
And MMTT is being held in check
boy.
by Defu here. So as we make our way into the back half of the chart here, a little bit too close to call for the moment. Dare I say about 1,000 points.
3 digits. Probably less than 1,000 at this point. Like, Akemi's accuracy over Roshan 0.1% is the same as Mafufu over Kamiko. And MMTT is just cancelling out Defu, so... But it does seem like Peru do have a very small advantage just because Defu has a better accuracy than MMTT.
Yeah, Luo Xuan finding
Roshan, yeah.
down into that 99.3 range. But that being said, a massive drop
Kamiko.
as a team from the side of Peru. No, all 6 FCs still left on the board. It is just based on the accuracy alone. Going into the last little bit of the chart here, China has managed to pull out this lead for the moment. It is a very fragile lead, but Defu is the first one to blink after
That's the
almost
that's
2
the nail in the
minutes.
coffin. It wouldn't have mattered anyways if without the miss. China would have held on. And that was really close.
That was very close for comfort at the end of the day. But China managed to hold on here and take that first point to make it 1-0. And Mafufu saying that's a personal worst. Imagine saying a 992 is one of your worst runs on that chart. Ridiculous, if I do say so myself.
Personal worst still gets MVP of the lobby.
It just be like that sometimes, but
yeah, it do be like that.
thankfully for Peru. Alrighty, so Peru up to pick now. The good thing about that last chart is it was China's first pick, so maybe not something that he would have willingly opted into, but it feels kind of nice that it was only the singular miss at the very end that really swung the tide a little bit. That was going back and forth for the better part of like 90% of that map. So
yeah,
does bode well here for the confidence overall, and it's going to be a lane Rice 5. Ooh, so going into something a little bit more tech oriented, and this chart has definitely been the bane of some players' existence. I've seen some wild score variations on this one so far.
I mean, with the brutal nature of the map, I won't be surprised if we won't get any FCs.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a matter of how clean you can make them at the end of the day there, so... Right now, just waiting for the chart to get loaded up. Always nice when client decides to play along. Get itself involved in the match proceedings. But for right now, just a little bit of speculation as to who might have come in for both teams.
I mean, I'm probably gonna expect the same 3 people from Peru. Defu, Akemi, and Kamiko.
Yeah, for right now. Just waiting to see if we can fix up that chart here. Looks like it just refused to load on the client. So see if we can get that squared away for y'all real quick. So I can bring you guys more of the action. Thankfully, very early on in the match. But with that being said, I mean, if this one goes the way of Peru, we are tied up once again. It is an opportunity for China to take that first break point in this match.
Yeah.
And it looks like we are able to get it
Oh!
to load. So that's very nice.
There are swaps from Peru, actually.
Yeah, and on China's side as well, lovely Hia coming in. Meanwhile,
we
on the
do
side of,
see. Yep, 2 changes.
yeah, it's Koi and Samuel G coming in for Peru to contest on this pick. Yeah, we do get it underway. Very strong starts across the board to do this introduction, but to be fair, the real meat of the chart doesn't come until way later on.
Yeah. Right now, they're just gonna dip their toes in the water.
Yeah, just get a feel for what is to come. A lot of very abrasive bursts, a lot of great starts, a lot of flams to work with, and the mini jacks really do start to eat away at your stamina overall. And it is hundreds of points. The difference as well. Xuan finds the first break for China. Again, hand the lead over to Peru for the moment. Still very early on in the chart, but they're all past that 400 combo cap. So this miss is going to do a little bit of damage as opposed to it happening in the opening volleys, especially with this overall average accuracy that Peru has built up. 99.6 maybe across the board for the moment. Roshan not able to keep it clean overall on that drop. 99.4 for them. Gonna need to build up a little bit to make some inroads.
Yeah, Mafufu is trying to close that gap though. 99.8.
Yeah, highest accuracy in this lobby by about 0.1%. Next closer would be It's Koi, but for every 10th that China drops, this lead for Peru starts to expand a little bit. So long as their players can keep it clean, able to avoid some of the 200 drops when things start to get very dense, it's going to do well for them overall as we make our way into the second half of this chart.
The overall accuracy from Peru is actually tanking a little bit now, which that lead you can see is starting to shrink.
Yeah, China's not
It's
going to...
Yeah, they're dropping to 99.5. They're almost matching Samuel's accuracy.
Yeah, a little bit of a cost work. Yeah, everybody's starting to find a bit of damage as we make our way further and further into this chart. Last third to go. Nobody above that 99.7 mark. And that only bodes well for Peru. They do still have that extra miss in the bank to work with. Cannot let themselves rest, though. China is making this one a bit of a fight, but the lead is starting to expand the way of Peru as this chart makes its way into the final quarter. It'll be interesting to see how this ending comes to pass. Some very violent screams in the music. Gonna be given some very intense staircase-oriented patterns that are very easy to lose your way on. Last little chart left to go. Peru still firmly in the lead at the moment, but not an unassailable lead by any stretch of the imagination. First screen section comes down as Samuel is caught out by it. And this is the opening that China needed to try and get the breakpoint here. It is starting to shrink.
Is it gonna flip over? It might flip over because that miss from Samuel is gonna trade with Loshuan at the start.
Yeah, and everybody on the side of China has recovered well. They're starting to take this one back just ever so slightly. Still on the way of Peru. Samuel G finds a misread at the end. And that is going to be it for this chart. Peru was in charge for over 3 minutes, but at the very end, China able to recover just enough to take the breakpoint and make it 2-0 now.
And it's extremely unfortunate to give away that breakpoint to China. It looked like Peru really had the control. You can see Kamiko and Hitsukui scores just within 120 points of each other.
Yeah, it would have canceled out what Mafufu and Lovely had done there. Unfortunate to find the breaks there at the very end, but I mean, can't take your hands off the keyboard, so the ride's over. And China able to capitalize and go into LN3.
And we do see Zhu for this one now.
Yeah, Zhu coming in now.
Meanwhile, on the side of Peru, we should be seeing a Kemi and the Fu.
Yeah, it looks like some substitutions for both sides at the moment as we finalize these rosters. Of course, the two mainstays for their teams, Mafufu and Kamiko, staying in, having played both maps so far.
Yeah, that's gonna be the team composition for both sides. It's just gonna be one main player and then the others just kind of surrounding them.
Yeah, Kamiko, almost as if on cue, taking their spot at the top of the pyramid. So captain's up on top, supporting cast down on bottom to duke it out here. It's going to be a Kemi and Defu coming in to lend their support. MMTTYY and Zhu coming in for China to back up Mafufu. And Mafufu talking about some internet issues here. Always a bit of a struggle to keep the connection steady whenever China is involved, but thankfully has not interfered with the match proper. Knock on wood, of course. So Kovat is here. China's opportunity to go 3 to the good to start this match off. Alrighty, so a lot more release oriented through this introductory section, but all 6 players able to make it through relatively unscathed. I think Defu and Zhu trading in terms of 200 drops, but Akemi gonna find the first drop overall in this match.
Was that right after the 400 combo mark as well?
Right after, and that is a devastating place to drop. Everybody else getting full credit for their judgments as you start to rebuild. That being said, able to get back up to that 99.4 range, gonna be able to stem some of the bleeding now as they make their way across. Hopefully they find their footing as we make our way into the second quarter of the chart. Everybody on the side of China, bar for Zhu above that 99.7 range. Meanwhile, the overall accuracy from Peru slowly but steadily starting to trickle down just a little bit here. That extra miss not going to make it matters any easier as China starts to build their lead here.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult to kind of go against now with Mafufu and MMTT both above 99.7. No player in Peru above 0.6 yet. So they're going to beg for a miss from China.
Yeah, maybe a couple at this rate. Still have the chart to go. About 1 minute and 11 seconds left to play. But so far, 3FC's on the side of China. Nobody on the side of Peru. Finding a drop outside of Akemi for the moment. But really, it's just the matter of the accuracy and Defu. Going to
rise
catch
into
up.
an LN, yeah. And that's just going to make things worse for Peru. The lead continues to fly towards the red side of China.
Yeah, last quarter the chart still left to go here. Average accuracy for Peru in that 99.4 range, and so far all three players from China basically unscathed, untouched so far, hovering in that 99.7 range, 0.3 ahead. And as this chart comes to an end, it's going to be basically the same story as it has been throughout this chart so far. China taking that early advantage and not letting it go, and a quick 3-0 start for them to start this match off. Whoosh.
Wow.
Consistency all abound. A singular 200 for MMTTYY, 2 200s for Mafufu, and 7 for Zhu. So maybe missing out on 990, but overall still beating anybody on the side of Peru.
The good news for Peru is that there's no more LN maps and they are going for the Protect now.
Yeah, no better time than now to pull it out. Could quickly start to spiral out of control to the point where you miss out on the opportunity to throw it out here. So probably gonna see some more substitutions coming out. The LN players departing for now, and the more rice-oriented players coming in. As we see Molly come in for China for maybe a bit of a cameo appearance, maybe a bit more suited to this chart styling overall.
Molly's more well known for playing in the SB maps, but they did play one of the rice maps in the round B2.
Yeah, so maybe just having an affinity for charts like this in general. See Samuel G coming in for Peru once again. And Luo Xuan as well for China. Gonna round out the compositions very nicely. Haven't seen this map all too often. More often than not, it ends up finding itself banned. Unsurprising, it's a very, dare I say, polarizing pick in terms of how it's structured. Can lead itself to a bit of discomfort when you're looking for something maybe a little bit more consistency-minded, but here it shall find itself played. Fourth map of this best of 11. Peru still looking to try and notch a point on the board. China looking to try and really turn the screw on proceedings here. Maybe try and quadruple up before an answer is found. So we wait. And we make it underway. As has been with most of the rice charts so far. Oh, as I was just saying, Kemi finding the drop.
That's a huge mix-up from Akemi at the start.
And another one there.
Another one right before the stream.
Not getting settled in the most comfortably, down into that 97 range very early on, so gonna be able to climb back up relatively quickly, but gonna need to pick up the pace here. That cushion for China is massive to start this one off. Basically 3.5 minutes of non-stop jump stream for the most part.
I mean, the player for China to look out for will be Molly, who's holding a 99.3, as opposed to everyone else in the lobby apart from Akemi, holding 99.8s.
Yeah, that will be the duel to watch out for. Molly versus Akemi. If Molly can't hold this mark that they have set, and Akemi is climbing and climbing relatively quickly, can definitely start to pull this lead back, especially with the fact that Kamiko and Samuel are basically canceling out Mafufu and Luoshuan right now. So onwards we continue. Second, third of the chart. Still to come, Akemi recovering very nicely from their earlier drops. A couple of hands start to get thrown into all the jumps. Handled with relative ease by all 6 players involved. Nobody blinking just yet as we make our way into the back half of the chart. But it's going to be Molly finding a massive drop at the transition before the break, and that's really where the strain starts to come in. You start hyper-focusing, trying to make it to the end, and that's where the drops come, and that was a massive one to give Peru the lead going into the second half.
It is not over yet, but there is a bit of relief from Akemi's side, who missed earlier on in the map. Now finding the ground, but Samuel will trade into Molly, and that is just going to give the lead back to China.
Yeah, and that was one of the combos you did not want to see go. Maybe you could have afforded Akemi finding another drop, but Samuel losing the FC is going to be huge in determining if China can hold on here. You're going to hand the lead right back on over, and Samuel needs to climb back up with that 400 combo cap, but needing to find the accuracy here. Now 210s behind Luoshuan at the moment. Kamiko and Mafufu canceling each other out. You can kind of ignore them for the moment. It's the difference between Molly and Akemi, and Luoshuan and Samuel, and Molly...
Look at the Peru!
Starting
What's Molly's accuracy?
Akemi has built...
Oh my gosh.
This is going to come down to the wire. They're playing tug of war with this leaderboard. Molly cannot afford to find any more accuracy drops. Luoshuan can make a bit of a difference here. Cannot afford to find any blinks either.
No
Samuel
way.
and Akemi, off the sheer fact of this accuracy alone, going to be able to claw it back. A couple more patterns to read through, and it is going to be Peru hanging on.
That is incredible. Wow. And I think Molly realized the situation. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Impressive accuracies from the captains, first and foremost.
Oh, virtually canceled each other out. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
991 apiece, 200 points the difference between the two of them. Negligible margins to consider. And Peru notched their first point on the board. Make this a bit of a match now. And it's 3-1.
Or you might think the 2 100s from Mafufu could have also been the difference.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe just a singular chord being mistimed. I mean, to be fair, that slider break at the end from Molly might have also played a little bit, but I mean, that's you're basically nitpicking at moments there. So it is now China up to pick once again. The LNs are gone off the table now. Do they start to go
hybrids? Oh wait, SVs, yeah.
SVs, I was about to say. The ace up their sleeve did protect SV1. Is this now the time to throw it out to try and avoid any potential comebacks from the side of Peru here?
I mean, now is probably a pretty good time to whip out the protect. After seeing Peru pick their own protect.
Yeah, fight fire with fire a little bit here. I mean, to be fair, yeah, SV1.
There we go. Alright.
You imagine that regardless of what Peru picks after this, SV2 is probably next as well for China. Maybe exhaust that side of the pool before diving into the hybrids. You would imagine. That's a bit of speculation
I think it really depends on this. If China somehow loses this, then I don't think they will go for SV2. And maybe Peru would go for SV2 if they feel comfortable enough, but really comes down to the result of this.
Yeah, we start to see the SV specialists start to come in. Spectro
Yeah, Spectro.
for Peru. Molly gonna stay in, coined as that SV anchor. It's amazing having two very formidable SV players on a team, let alone just one. So Mafufu and Molly, a very devastating duo in their own right. Zhu probably staying in to lend their support, unless we have any last second reconsiderations. But
yeah, this should be the finalized lineups of both sides.
yeah, it looks like rosters are locked in. I think just waiting on the internet for one of the players to register that they are ready. Imagine just given the geographical distance between these two countries, that plays a bit of an issue there. But thankfully so far, again, knock on wood, nothing major has happened. So MP Star Command does come out. Will be SV1.
Alright. Anyone gonna trip on the slow jam?
A player's worst nightmare, just knowing that the opening salvo is just slow jam.
How the notes just slowly creep in. Zero and Spectral were the only casualties, everyone else holding just fine, so that means it's just gonna cancel each other out.
Yeah, this is anybody's game very early on in this chart, and it's actually Peru starting to eke out a tiny bit of an advantage, but you imagine it's basically just Banjo trying to keep everything together. This is barely a lead by any stretch of the imagination as we make our way through. But for right now, Kamiko 99.9 for them, canceling out Mafufu for the moment, but being backed up by Molly certainly does help stave off any of these advances. In China starting to wrestle back some of this lead for the moment.
Zhu, but Kamiko misses. I was about to say Zhu's accuracy was dropping a lot, but Kamiko just immediately combo breaks, and you can see that lead now.
Yeah, just skyrocket in favor of China for the moment. That was the highest accuracy for Peru, taking a tumble there, and we're already down to the last third of the chart with SV charts like this that are so lightly patterned. Zhu finding the drop though.
That's huge. That's a misread, I think. That's a huge misread at that.
Gonna need to try and stabilize fast. That was a massive drop, down a full percent compared to everybody else, and Peru's lead just skyrocketed in their favor. Despite that drop from Kamiko, it was relatively clean in comparison, and this pick from China, the Protect, not working out in their favor, and it will be Peru taking what some might have pegged as a very unlikely breakpoint to make it 3-2.
Wow. And like I mentioned before the map started, it really comes down, well, whatever Peru wants to go for, it really comes down to this. And now that Peru know that they've won on China's Protect, SV2 is looking a little more tastier.
Yeah, for sure. This is probably an avenue that was blocked off, maybe not permanently, but this definitely clears the road of any potential doubt that might have been lingering in the mind. And you give Peru a very dangerous weapon to work with as this match progresses. It is now 3-2. Still in favor of China, but it is Peru's pick and an opportunity to notch things up here. What do you go for in this situation?
I mean, I'm very sure that SV is going to be an option for Peru, but there are still 3 Rice maps that they can still utilize. So I won't be surprised if they still stick by that.
Yeah, for sure. It has worked out for the most part in their favor. Do you see something like gas coming out? Oh, it's gonna be point counterpoint. Rice 3.
Point.
Like this pick as well. I mean, honestly, for Peru, there's probably not a bad pick overall stylistically in the rice pool. It's just a matter of picking your pill and swallowing it. And in this instance, it will be some Streetlight Manifesto coming out here, some substitutions as well.
Yep.
Probably going to see probably Samuel come in for Peru.
You see Lovely back in for China.
Lovely and Zhu checking in. Oh, it's gonna be Defu.
Oh, Defu, okay.
Rounding out the composition for Peru. Honestly, when it comes to the rice, it just comes down to who's most comfortable and most consistent on the charts at the end of the day, so...
Very contrasting opinions in the chat.
That's just how it be sometimes. One person's favorite song is somebody else's just, turn it down to 0 moment. But regardless, it is what it is. Gotta play your way through it one way or another.
Just a little bit funny that both players who had opinions on this song were from the same team.
Yes. Makes you wonder, well, actually, who's... Kamiko's the captain. Why would they pick this?
I mean, they're probably picking it just for the map. Like, strategic-wise, they have to go for it. Even if they may not like the melodies and the tunes of this.
The good thing is they only have to play it once in match, and then they can just get rid of it forever. So hopefully that doesn't play a part in the performance overall. Double mirror coming out for Team China here. Lovely and Zhu rocking that. So see how that plays
China
out
have been
for
using
them.
They've been using a lot of mirrors this match.
Yeah, in some instances I can understand for playing some of these charts on the offhand, but you can also make an argument for a case of mind block coming in. But with how angry this chart can get at points, wanting to do it on your preferred hand is definitely something to keep in mind as we make our way up into that 400 combo cap. It will be Peru hanging onto the sliver, tiniest sliver of a lead for the moment. All 6 FCs still left on the board. Defu canceling out Lovely and Zhu. Kamiko going at it, Akemi and Mafufu as well. So 0.1% separating players individually, but as a team, maybe in the hundreds overall.
Yeah, and Kamiko will reclaim Peru's MVP. Akemi was holding 99.86 but dropped down to 0.79. Mafufu and Akemi misses.
Yeah,
That lead now goes to China.
Oh, and Defu falls. I was going to make the comment that Lovely was starting to find some accuracy drops as this map progressed, but that pales in comparison to the double miss from the side of Peru at the moment. Still have the chart left to go, so China not out of the woods just yet. We have seen some wilder swings in this match so far, but this is a very comfortable margin for them to work with. There aren't really that many drops left to speak of, especially with Zhu and Mafufu holding down the fort for the moment. That being said, Akemi and Defu now over that 400 combo cap, 99.6, able to rival their lower lobby counterparts in Lovely and Zhu. And right now, Mafufu is winning the battle against Kamiko, so able to stave off any potential Peruvian advances. Last quarter of the chart left to go.
And Peru are desperately waiting for China to break.
You're going to need one to come out and come out quickly. A couple of 200s from Zhu on the transition. No harm, no foul overall, but this lead is slowly but steadily starting to shrink. Defu now back up over that 99.7 range. Akemi not too far behind. Definitely able to make some inroads if any of these Chinese players catch themselves slipping. And there goes Lovely.
I don't know if it's enough because it's only one, but it's going to be really close.
It was a very clean drop overall, and I don't think there's enough chart left to go. Last sliver, but it is starting to trend the way of Peru at the moment. Tiny, tiny sliver for China to work with. Can they hang on? Oh my goodness.
The map ended just before it could have swapped over. That's a V1 number from Kamiko as well.
That is 1,300 points. The difference. If that song was 5 seconds longer, maybe.
Yeah.
Peru take it. But
I forgot how long the song went on for. I was thinking, alright, it has to be China. And then the song just continued going on, and the lead just continued to shrink.
Oh, the one time Peru probably wishes that that was an extended cut and not just a regular version. But with that being said, China, the beneficiaries of that song ending when it did. And it is now 4-2, with China up to pick next.
The hybrids are still all open.
Yes, V2 is still on the board as well. Do you try and run it back?
I feel like with the situation that China are in, I don't know if they want to risk it.
That's very fair. Don't want to get into a bit of a back and forth, if I do say so myself. Oh no, promptly take my leave. But anyways, still waiting for the pick, and it is going to be Hybrid 3. So Selfish Collider going to be the pick for China, maybe not wanting to risk another SV debacle there. Maybe playing it safe here overall. So Luo Xuan and Zhu going to be in for this one. No substitutions on the side of Peru.
I would be expecting it's Kui, but maybe not for this kind of map.
Yeah, the hybrids lend themselves to some of the most variety in terms of team compositions. So
that is true.
I think China is summoning the spirits of some of their brethren here to give them the strength to move through. I can't read Chinese in any way, shape, or form. That wasn't the case. I do apologize, but
it's off the screen for me, so I didn't really catch it. I just saw Tyrix.
I saw Turks.
There we go.
And a nickname, and I'm like, oh, I recognize those player names. And it's something about an FC, but
okay.
That's the extent.
One of them just said, "Good morning, I am Tyrix."
They woke up and manifested that energy. You love to see it. But the players are ready. We are going to get into this. What is this now? The 7th map of this best of 11.
Yeah.
Peru not out of it just yet, but China holding the cards at the moment, going into their pick. Selfish Collider here, and strong starts all across the board once again.
Okay.
Proving they're human.
Yeah. 150 combo of 100%.
Had to turn off the auto at some point.
Defu. Oh, the burst catching Defu.
That was quite a significant drop as well, down into that 99.6 range for the moment. You'd imagine they're going to be able to climb during this calmer section, but again, the cushion opening up for China to work with for the moment. Everybody above that 99.86 mark. That being said, Kamiko matching Mafufu and even surpassing them for the moment. Kemi trying to do some work to catch up to either Luoshuan or Zhu for now, but China being buoyed by that drop.
And it seems to be the case for most of the maps in this match so far that Peru were taking the first miss.
Yeah, just blinking first, maybe trying to hyper focus on maintaining the accuracy, and that's when those misses start to come out. But blaster of the chart here coming through.
And these jabs catching Zhu.
That was 2 bad releases. Gonna reset the combo. That's 1 down on the side of China. So 2 apiece for both teams, still surviving. But here come Akemi and Defu for the moment. Zhu's drop pretty significant in the grand scheme of things. Now up over that 400 combo cap. Gonna be able to stem the bleeding just a little bit here. And Defu finds the trade in return. Unable to capitalize as the opportunity presented itself. And as this chart comes to an end, the lead is probably going to stay intact for the moment, barring any sudden collapses from the side of China. And they are going to be able to hold on successfully and make it match point.
Match point. Yep. That's a score for Mafufu as well. 2 200s.
Yeah, just that V1SS eluding them every so often. But at the end of the day, so long as your team scores higher than the others, that's all that matters at the end of the day. And China make it 5-2 now.
Okay, now this is going to be a situation where I feel that Peru can pick SV2 now.
Yeah,
if they
that
want
might be a bit risky. China probably won't take too kindly to losing SV1. Gonna try and hyper focus on SV2 should it get picked, but that's just speculative here. That being said, still got 2 rice charts left, China and Gas. Then of course the hybrids exist as well, but probably the break in case of emergency glass situation on those.
Yo, it is SV2. They're gonna do it.
All right, this is the gamble.
This is the gamble. I mean, I like this gamble. I like it.
Especially with how SV1 went, Peru definitely able to hold their own against, like I said, on paper, a very formidable SV lineup from China. But they're going to want to run it back here. Probably won't take too kindly to losing 2 SV picks with the caliber of players that they have. So Molly and Zhu gonna back up Mafufu here. Spectro coming in, unsurprisingly, to back up Kamiko, and Akemi gonna tag along for the ride as well. Just realized that there's so many 9s and 8s in the map ID. That's actually funny. So another short chart overall as well, 146.
So there'll be very little room for error. And especially with SV memorization, very little room for error.
Yeah, any singular misstep here will arguably spell the end of your team's run. You do not want to be the player to find that drop.
Currently just waiting for the third player from China. As Mafufu comments that they've already forgot all the SVs.
Love to hear it. That's it. That's an inspirational comment from the captain.
Okay. Maybe it's just a joke. I don't know. We'll have to see when the map actually starts and Zhu's back in.
I always like to say, do not speak it into existence.
They're trying to manifest all the bad luck so it'll go away when the map starts.
Ah, true. Just shake it off before the map starts. Just kind of brush yourself off of all that negative energy and go forth. Perform to your peak.
Alright, pressure is on Peru. Because this is now a must-win situation for them.
Yeah, no more margin for error, at least in this match. Thankfully for them. Not the end of the line here, but definitely want to keep that winner's bracket run alive for as long as possible.
Alright, here we go. And a very early drop from Molly. Misread
like
into the slow jam.
Looks like they weren't kidding when they said that they forgot all the SVs. There's that first one, and that is a 3% difference to start this map off. Gonna hand Peru an exorbitant lead for the moment as they start to climb back up. Can still be traded back, but misses are gonna be hard to come by on a chart like this.
They can be hard to come by, but when they do come, things can swing extremely fast.
For sure, already a third of the way through the chart.
Akemi. Oh.
Dangerous.
Dangerous to see anyone drop accuracy. Oh, Spectral and Akemi both. The lead is gonna shrink a little bit just from the accuracy drops.
Yeah, that being said, nobody really standing out on the side of China. Kamiko standing in a league of their own at the moment. 99.7 for them, about 4/10 ahead of their next closest competitor in the 99.3 range, which is Mafufu. Gonna help cushion this lead for Peru for the moment. Last quarter of the chart left to go. Everybody up over that 400 combo cap, so misses at this stage would be devastating one way or the other.
Oh, and zero drops! I think that could be it, because that means that Peru need to drop twice, but it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, for sure. Last little chart left to go. That being said, this lead starting to look nigh insurmountable. There's only about 150,000 points and change left to work with here. And with that being said, not enough time. The map is over, and it is now 5-3.
Kamiko?
Excuse
That's
me?
a score. That's a score and a half. And Peru have a third point. And now they can actually pray to actually maybe get a break point of China, because now there's 2 hybrids and 2 rice. And the hybrids left are a little bit more rice oriented.
Yeah, starting to get backed into a bit of a corner is China, and Hybrid 2 will be the pick. Amazing Mirage.
That's pretty understandable. They definitely don't want to go for Angel Echo, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So, Amazing Mirage coming out here. Substitutions as well.
They're bringing in the Fuji V squad back in from map 1.
Reunited, and it feels so good as we see Luo Xuan and MMTTYY come in. Kamiko standing alone at the moment for Peru. Let's see who comes in to back them up. You would imagine maybe it's Kui. Defu also on the table. Remains to be seen. Could also just be players double checking their settings. SV charts love to mess with stuff like scroll speed. Do not want to start this chart off on the wrong scroll speed.
I mean, definitely not Spectral. So we do see Defu.
Yeah, there's one. Maybe a Kemi. Maybe just remembering what scroll speed they had this one set to. Oh no, lovely Hia for the briefest moment, defecting to Peru.
Imposter.
Yes, the imposter. they are among us. That was quite sus. But it will be its Koi coming in.
That's the very peak into Peru's lineup. Oh, actually, lovely Hia is going to replace one of the GB members.
Okay,
Luo. Yeah,
Luo Xuan departing for now. Lovely gonna take their place. Maybe just a last second decision. I mean, at this point, the hardest point at any point in a match is the last point, because you're so close. You're on the precipice of closing it out.
All you need is just one, and sometimes, for better or for worse, it's just out of your reach.
Yeah, so if you are supporting China, lend them your support to try and close this out as soon as humanly possible. If you are rooting for Peru, lend them your strength. They need to get this break point and win one more point of their own to force that tiebreaker to come out. And Star Command comes out, the players are ready.
What a very early drop from Kamiko! From the L-Land wall. It is pretty early on though. But like I've mentioned, Peru are always the team to drop first.
Yeah, always the first ones to drop, but I mean, has worked out in their favor strangely enough on some of these picks, because they have the combo built up by the time China does eventually trade those back, whenever they have traded them back.
Yeah.
And that's really where they start to strike. But for right now, just lagging a little bit behind in overall team accuracy. Defu leading the charge here, 99.55 for them, but behind everybody on the side of China for the moment. Next closest competitor would be Lovely, but MMTTYY and Mafufu just nailing it down for the moment. Already halfway through the chart, everybody reading their way through that burst very well as the LNs start to come back in.
And right now, as things stand, this is China's point to lose.
That's a
Could that be client or? Oh, yeah, that was a client miss.
That lead was starting to trickle back, but Kamiko finding the organic break. Last quarter of the chart left to go. China still firmly in control. All three SCs left on the board. And Defu falls as well. Last quarter of the chart left to go. Right you are. Final nail in the coffin coming out from that drop from Defu. There isn't enough time. Already crossing that 900,000 score overall across the board. And it started to get a little bit dicey there at the end. But China finding the picks that they needed to pull it out at the end and take the match 6-3.
Well played from Peru though. With the mix-ups with the SVs in the middle of the match. Definitely spice this entire story up.
Yeah, for sure. Well played to them. Can definitely hold their heads high. Not the end of the line for them. Just going to drop down into that lower bracket. And oh boy, do I fear for their next opponent, because that is a very feisty lineup to have to go up against. But congratulations to China for pulling it out at the end. Going to move on to the winners semifinals.
Maybe we can take a peek in the bracket, see who is potentially going to be playing who with China, potentially Malaysia, Brazil on that side of the spectrum.
Yeah, and who does Peru fall down?
Taiwan or Thailand? Ooh.
Oh boy, so the Asian matchups do not end for Peru. Gonna be a very scintillating matchup there in the semifinals. But still got some conditional matches to work our way through. Got some winners bracket matches as well. So plenty of action still to come in this quarterfinals weekend. But that won't happen for another couple of hours. Pay no mind to the times on the screen. The next match will take place at 10 UTC by virtue of reschedule. So it will be Sweden taking on Japan. Then we kick off the Mega Block to really start to wind down the weekend. Matches at 12, 13, 15, and 16 UTC. Various countries vying for their spots in the semifinals. And we close the weekend out, I believe, with that winners bracket matchup of Singapore versus the United States. So definitely do not want to miss any of the action. Rav, do you have anything else left to say?
Nope. I think we've just witnessed a really good match, and hopefully all of y'all in chat can stick around for more.
Yep, but until then, we'll catch you guys later.